Hey, it's Joe Amoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. I've got a question for you. You're out on a date with a guy, and maybe you've been in a relationship with a guy, and you're having dinner with him, and all of a sudden, a beautiful woman walks by, and you notice him checking her out. What's your first response? What's your first reaction? Do you simply pay it no mind because you see she's a beautiful woman? Or, do you start feeling insecure? Do you start feeling jealous? Or do you start getting angry and, you make a comment to him? Now, again, there's no right or wrong. This is simply some mirror time to help you see what's going on your end. But I'm going to give you some truth here, some truth from someone who's been a guy for 48 years now, is that we look, okay? I'm going to come clean. We look. But it's not that you look, it's how you look. See, I was with a woman before where I'd be driving in a car, and I'm a people person, so I notice everybody, male, female, animals. It's just what I do. I'm always observing life. But I was with someone where we were sitting at a car, and an attractive woman walked by. And all of a sudden, I could feel her eyes on me. And all of a sudden, she was like, "What are you looking at?" And it really immediately put me into like this defense mode. And at the time, I wasn't secure in who I was. And instead of saying I was looking at an attractive woman, I said, no, nothing. I really cowered down. And I own that. But one of the things I realized is that, you know what? It's unhealthy because the truth is we're going to look. Now, again, it's not that you don't look or that you do look. It's how you look. One of the things when I first met my wife, which let me know we were actually on vacation. We were out in Mandalay Bay in Vegas. We were lying on the beach there. And this was our first,
real vacation together. And there was this woman with like this incredible body. I mean, she was just beautiful. And my wife said, "Wow, look at the body on that one." And I was like taken back. I was like, "You mean I can actually look? You're giving me permission, and you're not only giving me permission, but you're actually pointing it out?" I'm like, wow, this woman is special. See, because very often when a guy looks, it's not about him looking. We'll get to that in a second. But it's about the feelings and the insecurity you have. One of the things I see all the time, and I hear all the time from the members of our community, and you may be doing this, is that, I want a guy to, want to jump my bones every time he sees me. And I'm like, you know what? That's such a bunch of crap. Okay. The reality is that once a guy's with you a couple of months, he's going to love you, the right guy. He's going to want to be with you, and he's going to want you and only you in his life. But if you think that's all he's going to think about 24/7, it's insanity. Okay? It's just not how it works. And it works the other way. I want a guy to come home and, I always want, I want to jump his bones. I just want to have that feeling. I want my panties to get all moist. I want to have that feeling. And I'm like, it's just not realistic. It's just not sane. Okay? And I'm sharing this is because, you may have this unrealistic expectation of how you think it should be. And the reality, if you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone, day in and day out, month after month, year after year, that attraction, that fantasy, that chemistry is going to start to wane. It's going to take a back seat. But what's most important is the character and the integrity of a person, how they treat you. Yes, absolutely, you got to be attracted to them. That's essential. You got to be sexually compatible. But those are just two pieces of the puzzle. So when it comes to guys looking at other women, it's really not that they look, it's how they look. If a woman walks by and all of a sudden the guy's eyes get real big and his tongue starts popping out, you know what? And you see him lust after her, that's a completely different story. If you're out at a party and a guy's with you and you see him obviously flirting with another woman, making moves, making advances to her, that's a different story. If you're out at a restaurant and he's hitting on the waitress in front of you, that's a completely different story. See, it's not that he looks, it's how he looks. And if a guy is just being a guy and he happens to notice somebody, but he's not being disrespectful to you, you've got to, and you start getting triggered, you start getting pissed off, you got to start getting angry. That's where you've got to take some mirror time and go, is this really about him? Or is this about my insecurity? Is it about me feeling that I'm not attractive enough? Is it me feeling that I should be attractive on a certain level and I should be the only woman that he ever looks at? Because if you do that and you operate from that place, it's going to create a lot of obstacles, a lot of roadblocks in your relationships. So before we go, I've got a question for you. Okay. If you were out with your girlfriends, right, and you were in a relationship with somebody, and this really hot guy walked by, this amazing, whatever that looks like to you, would you not notice him? Would you not talk to your girlfriend and go, wow, that guy's really gorgeous? Look at the eyes, look at the body on him, look at the smile, look at his hair, whatever those features are that you admire most. Wouldn't you really kind of notice that? Now, does that mean that you don't love your boyfriend? Does it mean you don't want to be with your boyfriend? Does it not mean that he's not the most special person in the world to you? No. It just means that here's an attractive person that you're noticing. Nothing more and nothing less. So I want you to take some mirror time. I want you to really get clear and notice what your typical reaction, because right? No one knows you better than you. And I just want you to get real and see what tends to come up with you. And if it's a reaction that really isn't conducive to being the best you, I want you to let us know about it, because we're here to help. So what I want you to do is take that mirror time and ask yourself, what is your typical reaction? Okay, if you're with a guy and he notices another woman, what is your typical reaction? And then what I'd love for you to do is to share it in the comment section below. Again, the reason this GPS for Love is created and the comment section is great is to help you share, but not only for you, but to help other women who are on the same journey. Because we all think that, you're all different. You're the only one who goes through this. You're the only one who experiences it. And the reality is, we're all very, very, very similar. So love to hear from you. As always, it's an honor and privilege. We'll see you next time. Much love.